Rivera? Ms. Morris? Dr. Huntsville? Ms. Robinson?
Present. If there is no objection, we would like to approve the excused absences of Board Member Oates, Board Member Lewis, Board Member Hartsfeld. Seeing no objection, their absences excused. The chair now recognizes Dr. Bedell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, we want to, first of all, thank our community and our faculty and staff here at Banneker Elementary for hosting this board meeting. And to really open up these meetings with a presentation from our host school. So at this time, we will go ahead and have our young principal to come up, and we're ready to allow for you to do your presentation.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Mark T. Bedell, as well as cabinet members, parents, community members, faculty, and students. It is truly a great time to be a part of Benjamin Banneker Elementary School. And as I extend on behalf of our staff, we want to truly welcome you to our nice and lovely facility in preparation for this board meeting. So as I can always say, as it's been said 3 times, welcome, welcome, welcome. We'll begin our presentation with a recap of the 2017-2018 school year at Benjamin Banneker.
Shout out to the Phoenix and the Wonderfull Foundation. Raising money, our students raised over $750 for the foundation. And I agreed as the principal to take myself to the wall, to the top.
I want to extend a kudos to Mr. Stanley Taylor, our Communities and Schools Director, for preparing this lovely video for you all this evening. In addition, I want to shout out one of our 6th grade teachers, Mr. Khalil Kennedy. He was actually the gentleman that was breakdancing in the video. So our talent extends far in the classroom. At this time, Banneker's mission statement. Our mission is to provide an equitable and high-quality education for all students. As a former graduate of the Kansas City Public School District, shouting out Lincoln College Prep as a graduate in 2006, my educational journey was not always a path of success. Growing up approximately 10 blocks from this school, I experienced several challenges that several of our students experienced as well. Having an opportunity to receive mentorship as well as just a chance at life from a previous superintendent inspired my journey to be in education. That superintendent, Dr. Bernard Taylor, at the time had a belief to put adults' needs last, kids' needs first. And I still believe that holds true today with our illustrious superintendent, Mark T. Bedell. Before I begin to present Banneker's data, highlight our accomplishments, and overall just share a story and a brief preview of our school, this work cannot be done alone. In fact, if we follow John Hattie's work, teacher expectations and a classroom teacher has the single most impact on student achievement. And we are going to show some student achievement and growth that we've displayed this year at Banneker. At this time, I would like for the Banneker faculty to please stand, and I would like to personally give you a round of applause for your hard work this season. As you can see, we love to have fun here at Banneker. All right, this is an elementary school. All right, moving forward. Banneker serves approximately 423 students. Our numbers on a daily basis do fluctuate. Currently at Banneker, for the 2017-2018 school year, we have a 59.3% student mobility rate of students that are entering and exiting our building. As you can see from the data above, we have grown. In fact, the beginning of the year for the 2016-2017 school year, on the first day, 228 students showed up. A year later, 434 students showed up. With that being said, what is left off of this slide is that our projected enrollment numbers for the 2017-2018 school year was 295 students. So we exceeded projection numbers by well over 100 students. In addition, our demographics, 91.5% of our students are African American. Our Hispanic population has grown from 2.4% in previous years to 4.8%. In addition, 7% of our population is considered homeless or in transition, and 15% of our students are currently in the exceptional education program and are receiving services. Now the highlights. As you can see, there's a difference in the math and ELA growth at Banneker. This cannot be contributed to new leadership, but again, I have to put it back on good teaching and best practices within the classrooms. 10% more students met their projected growth targets during the 2017-2018 school year than of the previous year in 2016 and 2017. As a lot of has been followed by the district, we did add 14 new staff members to Banneker this school year. This does not mean that they're all brand new teachers, but however, talent recruitment is a big piece of our focus here at Banneker. And we're also happy to report, as of yesterday, we are 100% fully staffed for the 2018-2019 school year. Before new leadership and staffing were in place at Banneker, we only received 16 out of 60 possible academic annual progress report points. In 2017-2018 school year, Banneker received 30 out of 60 academic points. This is a 34% increase that is attributed to student achievement and good teaching practices. We offer several academic supports and interventions at Banneker. I'd be remiss if I did not highlight our autism program and our wonderful autism staff. We held our first annual Autism 5K this school year. And when I say putting on a 5K takes a lot of work, I didn't know what I signed up for, but Ms. Martinez and her staff and the group she works with was very committed to ensuring that this would be a success. If the community did not know that Banneker was open before, they knew on April 28th. As we know, we do have a lot of 5Ks that do take place in the city. However, it's very rare that 5Ks take place within the inner city and urban core. In addition, we offer tutoring, literacy lab, communities and schools, which I'll discuss a little bit later in our presentation, as well as the success mentors. I also must highlight this teacher, and I would say friend, that I've been knowing for over a decade, because when I came to Banneker, I called her and said, Tandy, you have to come over here. You have to help me. But I want to recognize her because she is our Teacher of the Year. And she is shown in the bottom she is shown in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. But if you ever had an opportunity to step into Ms. Handy's classroom, you see an educator that's passionate, full of energy. I don't know how she's so hyper at 8 a.m. But if she has an idea at 6:30 in the morning, she's gonna give me a phone call. But shows up to work every day as well as the rest of our staff, because I truly believe that they all could be teachers of the year, because we do have a tremendous teaching staff. We only could select one, but you talk about a teacher who provides an equitable and high quality education to all students, regardless of IEPs, living situations, trauma they're experiencing, whatever their background that they're bringing within to that classroom. She treats every student the same, and she sets a bar. And Banneker knows we set a bar, and it's an expectation. Some students may exceed, but at the minimum, they're gonna at least reach this bar. And so I'd be remiss if I did not give kudos to Miss Latanya Handy. In addition, we have several Benjamin Banneker initiatives. The 4 on the screen are just to name a few. Again, we are aligning with the strategic priorities in order to provide more emotional support to our students for the 2018-2019 school year. We will be implementing PBIS, positive behavior intervention and support. We want to ensure that we're not only educating children from an academic lens, but also educating them holistically and providing that emotional support, as well as instilling character and high expectation for all students. We align with strategic priority 2.4, implement framework for critical thinking, problem solving, and 21st century learning. We did this by Ms. Pruitt, as well as myself and other members of our leadership team, going out and applying for a Kauffman Individual Schools Grant for the 2017-2018 school year. And we're happy to report, after being awarded this grant, we have seen a 13.7% increase in our NWEA targeted growth. And I have to give kudos again to another talented staff member, Ms. Tracy Pruitt, because without her, this grant would not have been possible. And it has provided an opportunity to have an extensive coaching as well as professional development over the next 2 school years with this reading curriculum. Benjamin Banneker is the only elementary school in the district implementing expeditionary learning within the district, and we are seeing positive results. To align with strategic priority 5.4, again, we're big on grants here at Banneker. I probably can talk about this throughout our PowerPoint, but we received the Kansas City Family Community and Engagement Grant to begin to establish our SAC committee, as well as to increase family and community engagement at Banneker, because we ultimately know this work cannot be done alone. The purpose of the grant will be to ultimately to increase academic outcomes at home. We will do that through our parent involvement nights here at the school, providing literacy and math and science resources for our parents to help support the learning that we're extending past the classrooms. In addition, we've aligned with 6.6, collaborate with business and community mentors to support students with the implementation of Success Mentors. In 2016-2017, Benjamin Banneker was selected as one of 2 Kansas City Public Schools to pilot the Barack Obama initiative, My Brother's Keeper. We are happy to report that going into our 2nd year of mentoring at Banneker, that students such as Janae Hill, Darian McCullough, Donovan McGee, Charles Rivers, Armani Williams, and Amaya Lawton have shown increases in their academics, their character, as well as their attendance. In addition, we have several student recognitions. The students will be recognized immediately following this PowerPoint with the rest of the outstanding scholars within Kansas City Public Schools. However, I would be remiss as the principal if I did not stand before you and recognize these students and say something and speak to the hard work that not only the students have displayed at our school, but also their parents that are in the audience with us today. At this time, I want to briefly shout out and highlight the 3 students on the screen. Where do I begin? Thomas Key. Thomas Key is in Miss Link's class. In fact, Thomas Key is going into kindergarten, so he's benefited from our early childhood program here at Banneker. Thomas Key and their family have chose to attend Banneker for the 2017, 2018, 2019 school year instead of their neighborhood school, just because of the hard work, the dedication, and the passion of Miss Link, who has chose to loop with her students to kindergarten next school year. And so we're happy to see a student like Thomas, who greets us every day with a smile. And although our pre-K students are not eligible for honor roll, I'm pretty sure he'll be on it next year and shows up daily, because we all know the effects. If students are not at school, they are not learning. And it's very critical that we recognize him for his good attendance. In addition, we want to recognize Faith Cortez, one of our third grade students in Ms. Pruitt's class, who shows up every day with a smile on her face. If I had to probably pick a poster or a billboard to put up next with a student picture, it probably would have Faith on there, because her smile truly can light up the room. I'd be remiss if I did not give kudos to her mother, who I see on a daily basis, walking her to class, checking on her with her homework, partnering with Ms. Pruitt as we talk about those relationships that are critical, and ensuring that Faith's gonna be okay. We know Faith is going places. And last but not least, Miss Naomi. Where do I begin? When we think of extracurricular activities and involved, Miss Naomi is going to be a 6th grade student at Banneker for the 2018-2019 school year. Not only is she an honor roll student, and I left that out as well as Faith, not only is she an honor roll student, but Naomi also participates in our Girls on the Run program, as well as robotics, and ultimately has good character and outstanding attendance at our school as well. If I had to say one story about Naomi, is we were setting up for the autism 5K, and if you ever ran a 5K, usually the people that put on the race show up about 3 to 4 hours early. Although we have approximately 10 students in our Girls on the Run program, Naomi was one of few who showed up to serve and help us get the race set up on that day. And so at this time, I have to give a round of applause to the families really quickly. I know we're gonna recognize them later, but to the families and the students of the Banneker students. In addition, we have several after-school activities, and I will begin to discuss our boys basketball team. Benjamin Banneker has not had a basketball team here since 2011. In 2017-2018, I charged Mr. Taylor, as well as Mr. Kennedy, and several other adults to get this program and this extracurricular activity back up and running. I had no idea that they were gonna place us in a Metro Charter League and find somebody for us to go out and play. We ended up participating in a Metro Charter League, where we were the only KC public school playing in a league with 7 charter schools. In our first year of having a basketball team, since 2011, we finished in 2nd place. And that's a major accomplishment. And anybody that knows me, I absolutely hate to lose. And so I'll tell you, we lost by 4 points. I think I lost my voice, but I will state this. The team we played that beat us, those students have been on the same basketball team for the last 4 years, and they only beat us by 4 points. I think if we play them again next year, we'll definitely win. We'll definitely win. In addition, I want to shout out our Lego robotics team. Last year, we struggled a little bit within our building with robotics. Although we did field a robotics team, we didn't place very high in the city qualifiers. This school year, under the direction of Sharonda Matthews, one of our 6th grade teachers, we placed right outside of the top 10 in the city qualifiers, in addition to receiving the Judges Award as well. So at this time, I want to recognize Ms. Matthews. Board members and Dr. Bedell, I truly mean we have a lot of talent in our buildings. And we are looking forward to starting our debate team, so I am going to reach out to some staff members next year, just look for some emails. With that being said, we also offer chess club. We have girls mentoring as well. Not only when the district and Dr. Bedell came into mind and put it to us that mentoring was critical within this district, we went out and enlisted some young ladies to come help. In fact, I called my sorority sisters. So the members of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated have met consistently. They haven't missed one Wednesday since September to work with our Link After School program to mentor our 4th and 5th grade students, young ladies, and provide social support, but also increase their character, and actually give them role models that can be culturally responsive, that attended similar schools. In fact, one of the Zetas actually graduated from Central High School. And so to be able to it's not about just coming back, but it's coming back, it's giving back, and it's trying to bring up with you. And so that's another program that we're adding in addition to Success Mentors. And I know Dr. Darrell Davis will probably have a smile on his face. He's probably gonna try to sign these young ladies up next year. But I have to shout out Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated as well. In addition, we do have the Girls on the Run program, the Good News Club. And next school year, we will be implementing an induction class of the National Elementary Honor Society here at Banneker. We do have the charter, so it is in motion, it is running, but we want to make sure that we get it right, and we recognize our students that are showing outstanding success in the classroom, both academically as well as demonstrating good character. We have several community partners. In fact, I do not believe I could fit everyone on this slide. But with that being said, I want to highlight and give kudos to several of those partners. You are going to have an opportunity here in a few moments to hear from, I call them the young ladies at St. Andrew's Church, who has been a long outstanding partner of Benjamin Banneker Elementary School far before I came, who do remarkable lessons in the gardens with our students. But I want to send kudos to Lead to Read through the mayor's office, who comes in and works with Mrs. Lil Jackson's class and our third graders every Wednesday. Junior Achievement, the Back Snack Program, My Very Own Library, and if this is not a program that you're familiar with, Scholastic has this program in several of our schools within the district where our kids have an opportunity to build libraries at home. The students actually have an opportunity to select 10 free books. They don't have to pay for them. It's nothing you have to sign and say, hey, later on, we gotta get you, we're gonna send something in the mail, but totally 10 free books so that we can foster literacy at home with our parents. But I say that to highlight the International Union of Painters and Allied Trade, who was recognized as an outstanding community partner at the Northeast Middle School Board meeting, because when we told them that Scholastic was providing 10 free books to all of our students to go home and build our libraries, they said, you know what, we're gonna provide 10 as well. And so this school year, we're happy to report that every student at Benjamin Banneker received a total of 20 free books to go home, but that's just not where that ends up. In addition, they came in, they volunteered, painted the gymnasium, the cafeteria, provided 200 classroom library books to every classroom in this building, and then still went out and provided the complete school supply list for every child here at Benjamin Banneker. In addition, I said, hey, we only have this amount of students. They said, well, we're gonna just fill you up so you have some more for the next school year. And so I know they're not in attendance today, they've already been recognized, but I'd be remiss if I did not give them kudos. And I do believe they're attempting to partner with another KC public school for the next school year as well. In addition, we have Communities in School, which is under the direction of Mr. Stanley Taylor. I cannot speak enough about Mr. Taylor. If you think of community organizing, community outreach, providing services to families, attending a neighborhood association who our cafeteria manager, Ms. Georgia Brown, is a part of, and just ultimately just providing services and just helping, meeting the individual needs of students, this is Mr. Taylor to describe him. A do-it-all, mentoring. If he had to go in and teach a lesson, I think he'd teach a lesson as well. But if you had an opportunity during our lovely ice cream social to check out our silent headphones, as we're looking at 21st century technology and motivating students and actively engaging them throughout the classroom, this was an idea that Mr. Taylor kind of brought to Banneker. And we've seen tremendous active engagement increases within the overall student participation with just assemblies. And we're also looking at creative ways, and I know I've talked to several members in this room, creative ways of just utilizing these within the classrooms as well. At this time, I would like to bring up Ms. Dodd with St. Andrew's Church, and they're gonna come up and briefly for about 1 minute, just tell about their work and their volunteering here at Benjamin Banneker. And as they come up, I tell everyone, I'm not a perfect principal. Ms. Dodd will blow my phone up on the, she'll call my phone on the weekend, just to make sure the garden is watered, just to make sure the compost is picked up, just to make sure she has a class that's gonna come out for garden lessons on Monday and Wednesday. So when you talk about being dedicated, this is a program that's been here long before Principal Neal and the staff in this room, but a community partner that ultimately comes consistently to meet with the students, work with the teachers, and are always greeting everyone with a smile. So at this time, I am going to turn the microphone over to them for about approximately 1 minute.
Well, pardon me for countering the principal, but I respect the work he does so much. I would never call him on the phone on the weekend to do something for us. No, we really do respect the goodness of this school and the opportunities it offers children. And when you're older than dirt, things can work if you're part of a team. And so this is part of our team. And so I want you to meet Bonnie Vance, Ann Jufa, and Joy Ellington. And there are others too. So we're here every Tuesday and Thursday in the morning, and we serve about 85 children. And we love being servants to inspiring the children's curiosity. We don't need to have a textbook because the garden does it. They come alive out there, and they focus, they're interested. So it's about inspiring curiosity, about discovering, and about science, hands-on science. And you might think it's all about plants. It is about a lot of plants, but last year we discovered that when the harlequin bugs ate the plants, and we could not poison those bugs, there's no way to get rid of them without putting poison in our garden, and we're not going to do that. So one of our volunteers discovered a good way for the children to hand pick the harlequin bugs. Now, you wouldn't think your children would want to go out there and turn the leaves over and gather those bugs, but they did. That's what the garden does. It helps you learn and be delighted. And if you would not think that your children would eat collard greens and kale and all kinds of rutabaga and all kinds of things that they never had heard, never met before, they do. If they grow it in the summer, spring, summer, fall, and cook it in the winter, which is what we do in the classroom. It is so much fun, and if any of you would like to take your suit coats off and come and join us as volunteers, anytime, please do.
We have several of the highlights that we can highlight at Banneker this school year. When I truly say it's a great time to be at Banneker, it is a great time to be a part of Benjamin Banneker, and we still know that we have a long way to go. Several highlights are on this screen. As you can see, we have our talent show that we put on the last day of school to promote student attendance, as well as several things with the Harlem Globetrotters, as well as several other events as well. At this time, we would like to say thank you to the board, the cabinet, for selecting Banneker to host your June 2018 On the Road board meeting. At this time, I am going to open the floor for questions that I'll be able to take and answer and address at this time, if there are any.
Fabulous job.
All right, again, thank you.
Let me just make this quick remark as you leave, Mr. Neal. Mr. Neal was one of my early hires when I started this job, and what really compelled me to make that decision to hire him was the fact that he's from this community. And that speaks volumes, because this is part of your upbringing. You have a different level of an animal in you to want to see your school and your community thrive. And I think that what we heard today really exemplifies that this is not a job for you. Like, this is a passion, this is your calling. The future is bright for you. I couldn't be any prouder around what's happening here at this school, the motivation of your staff back there. People have bought in, you're already fully staffed. And I think that, as you said, there's always room for growth, right? We talk about taking it to the top, and I know that's a big piece of what you really focus on. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure that we help you all take it to the top for the children in this community, because they deserve it. Now, I know you're getting ready to exit out, but I do want to say this before we move on to our terrific teammates and partners. Anthony Lewis, I know, if I can just connect this for our board and the community, Anthony Lewis came here back in 2011. Dr. Lewis, I believe you were the principal at one point of Banneker before you moved into central office. This is your last board meeting with us, right? Anthony Lewis also supervises Mr. Neal here, so I do want to commend you for the work that you've done with him. But I do want everybody here to know that Anthony Lewis is leaving us because of a promotion. Anthony Lewis will be leaving to head to Lawrence Public Schools down in Lawrence, Kansas, where he will take on the superintendency July 1st. You need to stand, man. We can acknowledge you. Thank you. Excellent job.
Again, thank you.
Thank you again. There's some similar energies, some patterns. I see a lot of same energy from Dr. Riddell that we have in our principal here. So again, thank you for your wonderful, fabulous work and presentation. The next item of business is the report of the superintendent. The chair recognizes Dr. Riddell to make our next presentation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, we're going to go through with our Scholar Superstars and our terrific teammates recognition. I would ask Justin Robinson from our Communications Department to come up, and I guess we'll head over here to take pictures.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we're going to begin with our Scholar Superstars Awards, recognizing 3 students you just heard a lot about right here from Banneker Elementary School. So, Mr. Neal, if you can come back up here with the 3 students you just talked about, Faith Cortez, Thomas Key, and 6th grader Naomi Robertson. Please join me at the podium. We are honoring these students tonight for their excellent attendance and character. All right, we're going to do something a little different for our next Scholar Superstar recognition. Starting in the fall of 2017, students at Phillips Elementary School started collecting Tiger Bucks from staff as a reward for positive behavior. Tiger Bucks can be spent at a small shop in the school for snacks and other items. The Student Council then launched an initiative to get students to donate their Tiger Bucks as a way to support their community. They convinced the Church of the Resurrection downtown congregation to donate $1,000 for the charity of the student's choice if the students donated 10,000 Tiger Bucks to this drive. The students were inspired by the charity work done by the Church of the Resurrection members at Phillips Elementary School and across the city. The students responded enthusiastically, raising the 10,000 Tiger Bucks by the middle of the winter. Church of the Resurrection members in the congregation were impressed enough to raise additional funds as pledges based on the Tiger Bucks that were collected. It equaled up to $5,500. The students decided to give that $5,500 to the City Union Mission. That donation will purchase almost 3,000 meals for homeless people in Kansas City. For their outstanding efforts on behalf of the community, we are naming the entire student body of Phillips Elementary School as Scholar Superstars. Principal Lawrence Brown and a few of our national scholars, please come and step. Principal Brown. right, and finally, our terrific teammate. Tonight, we're honoring one of KCPS employees as a terrific teammate, Coach Renee Smith. Please join me at the podium. Coach Smith is a PE and health teacher at Southeast High School and was nominated for this award because of her support of student achievement. She exemplifies the word teammate. Over the school year, Coach Smith has attended multiple sports and extracurricular activities with students from a variety of KCPS high schools, not just Southeast, and even some of the middle schools, to capture those moments in brilliant photos. From state competitions to debate tournaments and everything in between, Coach Smith has helped KCPS showcase the remarkable accomplishments of our students. Her quality photos, positive attitude, and willingness to help visually tell a school story has elevated our coverage of school activities and share the success of our students' achievements. She is also a talented, respected, and much-loved teacher who cares deeply about helping her students reach their goals. Ms. Smith, thank you for all you do. All right, next we'll have Ms. Tamara Crawford Herrera with our community champions.
There we go, that's me. Good evening, President Robinson, Dr. Bedell, Board, Cabinet, Family and Communities. My name is Samara Crawford Herrera, and as the Manager of Community Partnerships, it is my pleasure to share information about this evening's awardee, the Kansas City Public Library's Digital Media Lab. Okay. The Kansas City Digital Media Lab is an initiative, of the Kansas City Public Library, working out of the Southeast Branch Library, and it is open to students 12 to 18. It's a hands-on learning environment that uses storytelling, robotics, digital media, production, and other broad maker activities to engage Kansas City youth. The goal is to support our youth to offer access to resources, expertise that align with their interests, and to encourage them in valuing their youth voice. It helps KC teens make connections between their interests and future academic and professional opportunities. For KCPS, the Kansas City Digital Media Lab hosted our first Tech Robotics Challenge at African Center Prep Academy. They competed during the 2017-2018 season. By challenging the lack of diversity in first team robotics, the students were introduced, to conceptual learning via the engineering design process. They had lots of candid conversations with students about self-esteem, teamwork, and the value of personal and professional interests that are beyond the scope of what they see every day. It's the hallmark of their program. One of the great things that they have to be an active participant in their program, you have to know your craft, be an active participant in your own learning, and understand that deep learning requires commitment, persistence, and play. Technology is a tool, and you can use it as a means to achieve your desired goals. These are some great pictures over the course of the year of students using the wonderful space. Marcus Brown, the lead facilitator, had this to say about his work with KCPS and AC-Prep's robotics team. It's been an exciting journey establishing a team and competing in tournaments. Our first year allowed us to get familiar with the process, and in preparation, our staff and volunteers spent the entire summer practicing and learning how to engage our students. This required us to dig in and really model what we wanted them to know. There are so many aspects of technology that can be shown to them, especially those intrinsic and extrinsic gains that we as facilitators were able to walk away with. It was great to see the growth of the students as individuals within the program itself. And in addition to the robotics program, we go back to those candid conversations, building their self-esteem. So I'd like to bring up Andrea Ellis, the Digital Youth Engagement Manager, as our honoree for Community Champion this evening.
The next item of business is our workshop presentation. The chair recognizes Dr. Bedell to introduce our Chief Research and Accountability Officer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we approach the end of this board meeting, this is a very important component of what we're doing and what the board expects this administration to do, and that is to seek input from our community at large around your perception of how we are educating the children that we serve in this school district. This year is the first year that we've rolled out the stakeholder survey. It's a comprehensive survey, and I think I won't take any more of your thunder, Mr. Reynolds. You have some contextual knowledge of how we've done these surveys in the past, and I think it'll be good for people to kind of know where we were and where we are and where we are going, and then to provide you with some preliminary data that we've received from this stakeholder survey. So Michael Reynolds, our Chief Research and Accountability Officer, I will pass it over to you.
Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Bedell, cabinet, and guests. One of the first major initiatives that Dr. Bedell undertook in Kansas City was the adoption of a strategic plan with community input to guide our path over the coming years and really give us a focus and direction for the work to be done. The first KCPS stakeholder survey is part of the strategic plan and is very important in populating select measures of the Kansas City Public Schools balanced scorecard. I lose it? All right. The survey is still live, and that is very important. Members of the audience, community partners, people that were just recognized, the survey is still live. So I do urge you, if you have not participated in this survey, it's accessible through Kansas City Public Schools website, and it is mobile phone adaptable. So my short plug aside, we'll move forward. Previously, Kansas City Public Schools has surveyed students, parents, and teachers, never in a very concise format, and we never really had a place for community partners, constituents who necessarily weren't connected to the school district, but do live in Kansas City Public Schools, are taxpayers. We want to give everybody a voice. We're all part of the same community, and we should all have the same goals concerning our public education institution. So, with that being said, our preliminary goals for response rates, we wanted about 4,000 responses. We looked at various school districts around the country, and we thought this was a very good response rate. As of last Friday, we were at 3,999, one off our goal. I'm happy to say that we're about 4,040 right now. We have surpassed our goal. And I do expect to keep racking up some completed surveys till the end of the month. June 30th is when this will close. So, other KCPS residents, 122. This is just a very brief breakdown of who has answered this survey. We would love to have all parents and all partners, all teachers, all staff. There's a place for you guys and your voice on this survey. So please reach out, and we want to hear what you have to say. One of the first things we're going to go through is the different measures that actually populate our balanced scorecard. These are students who answer these questions. I have meaningful friendships at school, 84.3%. and that is up. I'm sorry. My child received support at school. Oh, I'm a little bit off, guys. Give me 1 second. All right. I have meaningful friendships at school. The percentage of students who responded that they feel safe at school raised from 79.3 to 84.3. We view this as very significant. That's a 5% increase. We're very satisfied with this response rate, and we expect it to go up as we continue to implement the strategic plan. The percentage of students who responded that there's a feeling of belonging at their school raised from 70.6 to 77.6%. That is also a significant increase from the previous year. I have meaningful friendships at this school. That is a baseline calculation that we will expect to build upon as the years progress. Okay, this is your voice, parents. We're very interested in what you have to say. My child is receiving a good education at this school, 83.5. These numbers are all very evident for you. I won't read off the slides. I will say that these are baseline measures. All of our parent surveys in the past have been focused on Title I compliance. So we're really looking for your voice as it concerns your students' education and the climate at their school. Here's our teachers being represented. Professional development is effective and meets my need. Slightly over 55% of teachers responded positively to this item. Kansas City Public Schools is looking at their professional development cycle and the different implementation practices as we move forward. I'm engaged in meaningful work. That is 92.4% of teachers responded positively to this. That is up from 91.8 in SY17. And whenever we're at 92, 93%, we feel that we have a very positive sampling of teachers that feel this way. I am satisfied with being a teacher in this district. It did dip slightly from last year, 80.7 in SY17 to 71% in SY18. Once the survey has concluded, we will be breaking down and disaggregating these results and really looking for some qualitative measures and trying to determine why some of these measures did drop if they did decrease from SY17. Parents, once again, parent voice is very critical to us. You guys are pillars of the community, and we understand that your involvement is critical to your child's education. The school sets high academic standards. We got good results from this, and once again, board of directors and principals and parents, these results will be disaggregated and available by school. Teachers use technology to personalize my students' learning. We know we have the one-to-one initiative. Instructional technology is a big focus of our school district, getting these kids 21st century literate, ready for the new jobs and all those type things that we're really trying to do. This indicates that we are moving that way, and we're moving in a positive fashion, and our teachers and parents view this as a success right now. My child is comfortable using technology for learning. That's about a 94% positive response rate. So our kids are getting tech, they are figuring it out, and they are using it for learning. Safety items. Another thing that's completely critical for a school, for a community to have before learning can take place. The school is safe and secure. Once again, about 90% of people agree with that. We do view our schools as safe and secure, and it's nice that the parents echo and mirror that sentiment. My child is treated with respect at the school. Once again, about 85% roughly responded positively to that. Bullying is a problem at the school. We kind of have the inverse here because we want you to disagree with this problem. So about 68% said bullying is not a problem at their school. But of the ones that I did identify as a problem, they know who to contact if there is a problem at their school, which means they have open lines of communication with administration, with counselors, with teachers. So if a problem does arise, they feel confident it can be adequately addressed. One of the things that we ask parents to do is we give the students grades, so we ask the parents to give their school a grade that their child attends. Now these are aggregate numbers, this is the school district combined, but we basically put the schools on a 4-point GPA scale. And for SY18 preliminary, Kansas City Public Schools has a GPA of 2.41. This is important baseline information for us, and we fully expect to set some aggressive goals to raise our GPA over the next year. So here's our employees being represented once again and disaggregated in a separate fashion. The red lines represent vice principals and principals, and the blue bars represent teachers. So this is various questions regarding leadership in Kansas City Public Schools. KCPS leadership is responding to important internal issues. We're about 62.5%. Teachers and school-based administration viewed this item almost identically. So as stated earlier, this will be broken down by school, and we will look for some of the qualitative information to really determine if there's pockets that feel this way and juxtaposed against the greater whole. KCPS leadership has made changes that are positive for me. We got good results on this, on the rest of these surveys, team and community members. Principals overwhelmingly viewed leadership in a positive light, and teachers did also, outside of the important internal issues. KCPS leaders have a clear vision of the future, something I'd like to point out. Dr. Bill's strategic plan, the vision of the board, and I do give kudos, to quote Mr. Neal, to our cabinet for having a very clear and articulated path forward for Kansas City Public Schools, and it is being recognized. And one of the things that we really strive for in this survey is the voice of our partners. We cannot do this alone. We clearly require support from the community, and the support from the community that can be provided as evidence tonight can be very impactful. So if you are a community partner, we do ask you to fill this out. One of the highlights from this slide is the fact that 33 out of the 50 respondents would recommend Kansas City Public Schools as a very viable partner for their institutions. We want to raise that again. We want 100% of our community partners to view us and to recommend us to their peer institutions as partners. Questions?
Thank you for your presentation. Board Member Mansur?
Thank you. This is really interesting. I'm excited that you got this kind of response. I'm hoping everyone in this room who has not done the survey fills it in. Partly what happens when you see a survey is that you want to like dig deep. So, and I know that'll take time, and this was baseline for the most part, correct?
For the most part, ma'am.
For the most part. So I think one of the questions I have is sort of keying off something that Principal Neal was saying earlier, where he really values his teacher workforce. He sees them as central and core to everything he does in this school, everything he accomplishes. So I will be interested, and I know you probably don't have disaggregated data on the teacher questions, but clearly the VPs and principals are feeling they have a sense of the vision, they feel that there's a path forward, they can understand the direction we're going. And so are there any open-ended pieces on that survey for teachers that give you additional information about where teachers are falling? I know you still had relatively good results, about 70%, I think, generally teachers were agreeing with those things. What else do you know about what teachers would say about this?
Well, Ms. Mansur, we definitely did include qualitative responses, open-ended responses. They're very important in a survey like this to be able to give context. If everybody just gets in there and bubbles B, we know it's not B. It might be B, but we really want to know why. So I do urge teachers, put your comments in there. We have really abstained from disaggregating data down to the school level at this point in time. We're really waiting for the survey to close. I will say that it's just a lot of work, and every time we do it, we have to do it again when the survey is open. There are important items in there about how principals view their leadership in the building, about their curriculum, about their professional development opportunities, and all of those results, once the survey is closed, will be disaggregated by school and will be fully available.
May I ask a follow-up quickly? My other question then is, as you start to disaggregate among, and look at buildings and provide that information back to principals, Dr. Bedell, do you think you'll be sparking any kind of, I know you do a lot of teacher town halls, will you identify Do you intend to use this information as you think about what kinds of teacher town hall topics you want to broach for the next school year?
Yeah, and I think I can take that data that we have right now without even looking at the open-ended responses, and it already will tell me a story. It will tell me a story of, the answer is yes, but I just wanted to make sure I shared this piece with you. We can probably use our reasoning to believe that in some cases, when we break it down by schools, it will tell you a story of the percentage of teachers that may not have that type of connection with their principal like we saw here today, right? And so you probably will see a higher percentage of teachers on those particular campuses, and that is going to allow for us to be able to have that authentic type of conversation that we need to have. The other piece is, for some of our campuses, some of our principals, the reason why principals are rated highly, we see them every single month. We give them PD every single month. Everything that they do, just like you saw today on Mr. Neal's presentation, was tied into the strategic plan. The question then is, for those schools that were rated low, do we have our principals bringing that information back to those teachers? The same way that they're being fed from us, are they being fed on their campuses where clearly everybody can see a path forward? This strategic plan is a path forward, and it's very easy to follow. But in order for people to understand that, they have to live it on their campuses as a part of their school improvement plans. So this data is going to allow for us to really be able to do some goal setting, to sit down with our principals and then to even have those conversations with our teachers around how we can be more responsive to making sure that they feel more connected to the direction the district is heading in, but also more connected to the system as a whole.
Any other, Board Member Wilson?
Thank you. So I want to make sure I understand this correctly, which is we're seeing just a small portion, right, of some of the questions being asked in the stakeholder survey.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So when this is presented to us, will we get to see as board members all the questions? Sorry, I feel like there's feedback on this.
So, Ms. Woolsey, you will get to see it. I'm very hesitant to do a presentation for all the questions.
No.
It will be more of like a
In a
packet.
report.
That's
Yeah.
correct. It'll be in a report.
Okay, and so, great. I am curious, the students, what ages were those?
3rd grade and up.
3rd and up, okay. And am I right to think that if we had 1,140 employees, that's a pretty decent response rate, correct?
We feel very positive about our employee response rate.
Yeah, that's really high. Okay, thank you.
Board Member Evans?
Over the years, Kansas City Public Schools have taken a hit as to whether it is a safe place to work or whether it is a viable place to send your children. Can you use what you presented tonight as a recruiting tool for teachers, for parents, for students, and what have you?
I will say, Mr. Evans, that I don't recruit, but I do think that this could be used in conjunction with other data to really articulate and make the case that this is a safe place to work and to send your schools, or to send your students to school. I do think that this could be used for that purpose.
Thank you.
And let me just tag on to that. One of the things that I think has shifted with this school district, and we've been talking about this, there's a lot of interest for people working in the surrounding school districts now. It was a time when people would be wanting to leave this school district to go work in those districts. People have a lot of interest in wanting to come and work in our school district right now, and I think that's something that we're very excited about. We also have more of a national level of attention with people that have been applying to come and work in this school district. And so we were expecting to have a significant, almost over 300 kids of a decrease in enrollment, and that didn't happen. In fact, we came in, I forget what the actual numbers were, but we definitely came in higher, above. There was no regression, it was actually an increase. And so I think that the perception of the school district and just the transparency that we're trying to operate with, that is really boding well for us at this point.
Thank you.
Dr. Reynolds, my question would be around whose voice is missing at this point. I know that we haven't disaggregated it by school, or we don't have that information, but based on the preliminary information that you have now, are there any schools or certain populations that have not responded?
Board Chair Robinson, the answer is yes. There are certain schools that did not give us the sort of responses that we would expect, and school leadership has been informed of those to attempt to prompt some responses. The answer is yes, ma'am. And it was usually on the student side. The teachers and the employees are very eager to give us their voice, but at the same time, the students, they need that extra prompt from the building level administration to participate.
Right, any other questions? Okay, thank you so much for your report, sir.
Thank you.
Now we do have a regular business item for today, item 4.01. I want the board members to know, although that there's a fiscal note, we're not approving the fiscal amount because that's already been approved in the budget, but what we are doing is, as you looked in board docs, we're approving the MOUs for 7 strategic A-League educational service, Boys and Girls Clubs, both educational services agreements. So we're approving the MOUs. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, is there any debate or discussion? Will the secretary please call the roll?
Ms. Manser,
Yes.
Ms. Wolfsey,
Yes.
Ms. Lewis, Mr. Oates, Mr. Fierro,
Yes.
Mr. Evans,
Yes.
Ms. Morris, Dr. Hartsfeld, Ms. Robinson.
Yes, those MOUs have been approved. The chair recognizes Dr. Bedell to present the business items for June 27th.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't know if we have a slide on it, but I'll just read through.
Just hit end, and it'll come up. Okay.
All right, well, it's not a big deal. So the items that we will be asking the board to take action on is our AFT classified and certified CPA, budget amendment 2, adopting the FY 18-19 budget, medical broker bid, student device, insurance and policy, Greenwood demo, and then finalized bus routes for the upcoming school year.
So busy agenda. I'll be prepared to make decisions on those. Thank you, Dr. Bedell. This brings us to the conclusion of the agenda for this evening. If there's no objection, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.